What's going on, everybody? This week, in lieu of doing a new video for you, I actually have a special guest. Now, at this point, you've probably already seen the thumbnail. You've already read the title, so there's no secret to exactly who it is. But I'm actually really excited about this one today because we are all fans of this company. We've all talked about it before. We probably at least 75% of us have their card. And so today I have Richard Kerr, VP of Travel from BILT Rewards here in the digital building with me. So Richard, thank you for coming. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, pretty good. Pleasure's all mine. I love when creators such as yourself reach out and want to talk about BILT, want to talk a little bit about how I came from your shoes over to the dark side, as sometimes I call it, on the industry side. So excited to be here today.
Yeah, like I've never thought of doing travel as a profession, but that type of question might be coming a little bit later. So let's not jump into it right away.
All right. Won't spoil it.
Yeah, to get started and to kind of like break the ice, I got a couple of rapid fire questions for you. So just answer as honestly or as quickly as you can. First thing that comes to mind. How about
Okay.
that?
All right.
All right. So the first question is, what's your favorite country? US not included.
Vietnam. Always my go-to answer. Love Vietnam.
Vietnam. Okay. What's your most visited country?
Most visited, man. Well, somewhere I haven't lived, most visited would be Mexico, just out of convenience.
I can understand that, especially being in the US. Yep.
Yep.
Favorite place to visit that's not in the US then?
It's Japan. I lived in Japan for 3 years. I'm in
Good
love with the
answer.
country. My son was born there. Japan is the best place.
Nice. Good answer.
Yep.
Favorite place to visit within the US?
Charleston, South Carolina, man. I got extended family there. It's a special place. It's a really awesome place. And my first job was giving tours of downtown Charleston, driving the mules on the carriages. So Charleston for life.
Awesome. How many total continents have you visited?
I've been to 6. Missing Antarctica. Just working on it. Trying to get one of these cruise options down so I can say all 7.
See, I love asking that question because Antarctica is no longer the 7th continent people like the last one they visit anymore. So I love asking that.
Antarctica is so hot right now.
There's a joke in there somewhere. Window seat or aisle seat?
Aisle seat all day. I don't want to crawl over anybody.
Thank you. Economy or business class?
Come on, man.
All right. Check bag or carry on?
It's a complete toss-up for me. If I'm going international, I'm checking the heck out of it. If it's a short domestic hop, I'm putting it in the overhead above me.
Makes sense. What is your must-have travel item?
Must-have travel item? Probably ibuprofen. Comes in handy for a lot of different reasons.
Smart. You know what? I carry that with me all the time as well.
Yep.
What's the weirdest thing that you travel with?
The weirdest thing that I travel with? Oh, man.
Yep.
I really don't have anything too weird. Maybe in my backpack, I always have a pack of flossers. I hate when stuff gets stuck between my teeth. So I'm always a flosser guy. Maybe that's the weirdest.
I wouldn't find that weird because I do the same thing. For me, it's toilet paper. I travel with my own toilet paper.
Hey, depending on where you go in the world, that's necessary.
Yeah, that single ply rough and thin is not going to do it for me. Anyway, hotel status, does it matter? Yes or no?
Absolutely. 100%.
Airline status, does it matter? Yes or no?
100%. If you're an actual road warrior like myself, if you're chasing it for the 2 flights a year, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, 100%. Now, don't get too far ahead of me, but does lounge access matter? Yes or no?
I mean, for my day-to-day life, it is crucial. It is 100% a necessity and saves my skin all the time.
I would say it depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about it a little bit, but I'm happy to tell you why I have to have it.
Yeah, well, for me, it's because I grew up in such metro areas where I could just show up to the airport right before we had to board the flight. So I never need to show up early and like get lounge access. Never had too many connection flights where I needed it as well. So I always like to ask that question for the same reason.
Yep.
So thank you for that. Now, the next thing is, so for the agenda today, I got some questions for you, more Richard based, and then I do have some BILT related questions as well. But I want to start off first with the Richard based question. So obviously you're a travel enthusiast as well. You do it professionally now as well. How did travel become part of your life? And like, why is it so important to you nowadays?
Yeah, let's keep this answer as brief as possible. I was a freshman in high school in Georgia, where I grew up, just about an hour south of Atlanta. My dad came home in February and said, "Hey, my company has bought out another smaller company in Manchester, England, and parent company's asked me to go and run it in the interim for the next 2 to 3 years. Do you guys want to move to England?" And I don't think we really had much of a say, but he was nice and asked it to us. So I took off to England that summer after freshman year. Spent the next 2 years a city called Bolton, England, just outside of Manchester. And just had the experience of a lifetime. If you leave rural Georgia, where you think the world's one way, and then you very quickly get your eyes opened in Europe that the world operates quite a bit different no matter where you go, I was hooked. So we had school trips in the summers. My dad would take us across Europe, and I thought, this travel thing is going to be for me one way or the other. Came back and went to undergrad here in the state of Georgia. Finished in 2007, right when the economy tanked. Despite doing well in school, not very many good job offers. So I ended up as an officer in the U.S. Navy for almost 10 years. And just like the stereotypes say, you absolutely do travel the world. So I mentioned before, I lived in Japan for 3 years. First duty station was in Seattle. My last duty station was in D.C. I worked on submarines. I worked in helicopters. I worked in aviation. And I really did work all over the world, and continued to really love travel. And that's actually where I started to use points and miles out of a matter of necessity, because you can go on Google right now and see what a junior officer in the Navy makes, and it's not very much. So if you live in Japan and want to get your family to come and see you, or you want to see your family, you either got to spend all of your savings, or in my case, I found points and miles, and it just immediately stuck with me, and I was hooked for life. So started freelancing, had my own blog while I was still active duty. And that turned into the opportunity to start a community from the people that would follow my blog, and Facebook groups before the days of Instagram really taken off. And that's kind of led to one thing to another until I could leave the Navy and do points and miles full time as an editor at the Points Guy. And then I got into the travel relationship business. Travel's been a part of me personally and professionally ever since.
Okay, so I got to unpack that. You said a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I try and get that story. I get asked all the time, and that's as condensed as I can get it, man.
But first off, thank you for your service, by the way.
My pleasure. Sure.
And being a part of the Navy, and of course, everything that you had just said, I don't want to repeat too much, because I'm not going to say it was long, but there was a lot in there.
Yep.
You definitely must have learned some type of tips and tricks through your professional travel through the Navy. And then also personally, as you as you had mentioned, you were akin to the points and miles game. Then you're like, oh, I'm going to go full in on this. So what other types of travel hacks or strategies did you learn in that crossroads of Navy and points and miles during that time period?
Yeah, I would say it all became about how to be a savvy traveler, not necessarily, only as far as what you pay, but just how to travel, how to be aware of what's going on around you, how to manage when things go wrong, how to quickly get yourself out of, less than desirable situations, whatever that may have been caused by, and just becoming a savvy global citizen that is broke out of the stereotypes of what most traditional American travelers are, and kind of sit back and see the world for what it was. So I would say, a cross between savvy financially, yes, but also in just being a smart traveler and knowing what's going on.
Speaking of being savvy, what's your favorite travel strategy or travel hack that you have?
Oh man. I would say, I think we made a video for this recently for BILT, but I haven't booked a round trip ticket in 9 or 10 years. I only book one-way tickets. There's no reason to book a round trip ticket these days, unless maybe you're paying cash for transatlantic or trans-Pacific travel. Otherwise, just book one ways. Changes are easier, cancellations are easier, your options are so much better. I never book round trip travel, one way for life.
So that was actually going to be my next question, because I saw that video.
Yeah.
And you kind of answered it. And I was like, why only the one-way flight? So you did kind of answer it right there. Yes, it is way more easy to manage if you're doing one way and things like that. But even if you do one way, are you kind of loyal to a certain partner? So if you flew out on Delta, would you also do a one-way back on Delta, or you just don't care? You're just whichever is best and how you navigate that situation?
In my day-to-day life now, it is all about efficiency and maximizing my time. So if one airline has the best time, then that's the way I'm going. And I really don't care who it's on. I've been, again, lucky enough through the travel hacking and through our strategies, we all know, to have status across multiple airlines now.
Yep.
That, again, status for me, again, I'm on the road. I was in hotels over 100 nights last year. I'm flying 70 to 80 to 90 segments a year, most of it domestic, but plenty international. Like it's all about where can I get, what seat can I get in, how can I handle things when things go wrong. So I'm not necessarily loyal despite having status across a few different airlines.
No, that makes total sense. I
Yeah.
like how you added one thing that in my case, normally don't talk about too much. Even I don't talk about much in my content creation world of travel strategy and travel hacking is the time efficiency. It's
Yeah.
usually a financial efficiency or luxury efficiency, but no one I can't even say myself that I said you should take this because this would be a better flight or a better time, better use of your time. So
It's
my
funny that if I go to Google Flights and do a search for flight, like today, got my next business trip, and I always tend to book travel like less than 10 days out now because of how quickly things change. But
yeah.
flying to Vegas, and I always sort by departure time. That's my default search for Google Flights, not price, not best flight, not duration, but departure time. So I can look at my schedule and be like, all right, I can get these calls in before, or I can stay home this much longer, or this is going to be like the best time to start or end my day. So departure time is all I'm really worried about.
So I totally agree with that when it comes to Vegas. I always book my outbound flight from Vegas based on when I'm leaving the hotel. It's like, just get me out of
I
this city.
I have to go to Vegas I haven't been to Vegas since 2019. I'm not a Vegas guy. Love casinos. Love a good hand of blackjack or a sports book, but I just do not like Vegas. So I do have to go for work. And again, yeah, to your point, it's all about the departure and arrival times for Vegas, especially coming back to the East Coast where I live.
Yeah. No, makes total sense. Now, let's take a small shift here. Let's get to some of the more corporate built related questions because I know that's what a lot of people are going to be tuning in for.
Well, everybody
Not
should
that
be
you're not
excited.
awesome, by the way, because
I
we've
don't
all
speak
seen
in,
your videos.
I don't speak in a lot of corporate so everybody should be you don't have to put the filter on that you most usually have to do with most company spokespeople.
Awesome, because like no one sent me a contract before we did this interview, so like I'm free and clear.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware of how we do things there on the legal and press side. Yep.
Now, the number one question that any content creator will receive, or we always ask around the horn, is how many credit cards do you have? And
Oh,
BILT doesn't count. I'm pretty sure you have that one.
I got my this is my interview desk I'm at now. My other desk, I have a baseball card binder that's still this full of credit cards. So I mean, I am still very much an app. Like I keep up with everything. I have probably 20 cards right now.
Okay.
It used to be purely for utilization, but now it's because like I have to be even more aware of what the competition, what other issuers are doing, so that we can stay on top of our game
Of course.
here at BILT. So yeah, I still have a lot of cards.
Now, I will also double click on that because BILT has stayed on top of their game. I know it's a brand new company, new relative to like some of the other card brands that are already out there.
Yep.
But the credit card game has gotten a little stale, or it's gotten like mundane. It's like almost like the same thing. Just
everybody does the same
packaging.
thing. Sure, I agree with you. Yep.
Now, I've said this in my previous videos: is that BILT is not a credit card company; it's a rewards company that technically, or just so happens to have a credit card. Now,
Exactly.
how would you explain BILT in your own words?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's what I usually lead off on, interviews or speaking opportunities now is we are a loyalty platform, and we also have a co-branded card. So think of us like a Marriott Bonvoy, a Delta Sky Miles, where we're a loyalty platform where there's a lot of ways to engage with us and earn our points, redeem our points. And we're also going to supercharge that with a co-brand card like everybody else does. So yeah, the narrative of BILT is just a credit card. I work hard with creators and our customers to help understand, like, hey, there's a lot more ways to interact with us. Vast majority of our members don't have the BILT card, even though plenty do. So we are a loyalty platform that, number one, rewards you at home, which is rent. And now with neighborhood rewards, BILT dining, Lyft partnerships, all of our travel partnerships, and our real estate partnerships, reward you away from home as well. So regardless of where you live in the U.S., regardless of whether you rent or not really now, is you can engage with BILT in their neighborhood spend and earn points and finally earn something on the things that you spend your most money on every single month. Of course, starting with rent, but now dining, soon to be groceries, soon to be pharmacies, soon to be more travel companies. Like, we're never going to stop innovating.
You can keep going. You can keep telling us what else is coming down the line.
Hey, I'm excited for everybody to know, right? And those creators that reach out to us, usually you're the ones who get the first kind of news. So we're excited about continuing to build this platform, in addition to continuing to make sure that the BILT MasterCard is the best known annual fee card on the market.
Yes. So before I got into my current profession, I used to be a marketing professional. And so just one quick kudos to the BILT team. Your strategy, your operations, your marketing team, can we all just like pat them on the back? Because they are knocking it literally out of the park.
They're pretty sharp. We work some really sharp people in New York City, and luckily I get to work with them pretty much every minute of every day. And
Yeah.
let me just say, if you ever to put me in charge of like a marketing department, I'm the most uncool person that there is out there. We have some really cool, really smart, really talented people from the design all the way up to the strategy of marketing. So absolutely shout out to my counterparts over there.
100%. Sticking on that topic of differentiation from your competitors. Now, one of the polarizing topics within the credit card space at the moment is travel portals. Before, it's like never use a travel portal, transfer your points out. You're not going to get the best value. But now, travel portals are starting to come back in style, I should say, for one, for simplicity, but also for value. Now, of course, BILT has their own travel portal. On average, it's about 1.25 if you use your points directly through the travel portal. But what else makes BILT's travel portal different from your competitor travel portals and then other cards as well?
Yeah. So let me tell you, I think from your point of view, from a points and mile expert, and for most points and miles creators, the travel portal you would say is not very popular. But I'm going to just debunk that now and say the vast majority of people who redeem points on travel are going through the BILT travel portal. And that's the same for Chase. It's the same for American Express because it's easy. It's really hard, as you and I know, to figure out this transfer game. Even the concept for most of our members now that we've become a lot more widespread than we were 2-3 years ago is I don't understand what this transfer means. I don't know award availability. You guys say I can just go and book this flight, but it's not there when I want. I'm just going to redeem through the travel portal. So the travel portal is immensely popular for all these programs, way more than transferring. So like, I don't think it's gone out of style for the mainstream. For points and miles creators, yeah, maybe it is. So yeah, we have the BILT travel portal powered by Expedia. To your point, I'm well aware of why people don't want to go through this. I'm well aware of my own aversions of why it wouldn't be my first choice. But I'm telling you, I'm working very hard on that. And there's going to be a lot of really cool things that we're doing this year with the BILT travel portal to make it an even better experience. Right now, what I love about it is we have short-term rentals. So we just put Verbo on so you can redeem your BILT points at 1.25 cents each for short-term rentals. For my demographic, that's huge. Bachelor parties, friend trips, bachelorette parties, weddings, like all this kind of stuff. You can now redeem your BILT points to do that. Our activity selection is also awesome. I'm a Disney guy. We have tons of people that can redeem their points for Disney tickets now, both in California and Orlando at 1.25 cents each, which you cannot do on every single portal that's out there. And we just launched packages as well. So you can do a rental car, you can do activities, you can do flight, you can do a hotel, all on the same PNR, if you will, or the booking number through Expedia. And here just in a couple of weeks, we're about to launch a brand new servicing tool that's going to make servicing a lot better, which is always a pain point for travel portals. So we have done a really good job with the BILT AI help bot. So if you want to go and ask for help on BILT related things, we've got an awesome AI chat bot you can do. We're bringing that over to the travel portal now with our partners at Expedia. So if you have any kind of problem, if you want to do self-servicing, cancellations, modifications, you'll be able to do it through chat rather than the current experience, which is absolutely not the best. I agree with you. So well aware of any pain points there. It's incredibly popular, and we're going to keep making it a lot better this year. And I think you're really going to like some of the stuff that's going to be there by the end of this year.
I am still I'm trying to hold my jaw up because you keep dropping the stuff that's coming without me asking, by the way.
It's been like, man, but if you follow the BILT story, right, we haven't had more than 3 or 4 weeks since we've launched something new as a part of the business. It may not always be in travel.
Yeah.
But if you've seen what we've done on the fitness side, if you've seen what we've done with the curated art collection based on when we're recording, the rent day that was yesterday.
Yep.
If you've seen what we've done, if you're in real estate world and multifamily housing, we've rebuilt the entire payments platform for the way that 4 million apartments collect rent every single month. And points, of course, are part of that. But there's nothing like we don't go more than 3 or 4 weeks here without trying to do something different so that we're not ever stale, as you said, for the space. So we always want to keep people a little bit excited about what we have going on over here.
I'm here for it. I love the differentiation. I like, even if it doesn't necessarily benefit me, if it's something that's like, for example, the new Blade partnership. I don't live in New York. I do get to travel there, so I will be using my Platinum Blade ride later this year.
Hope you do.
The city.
We worked hard on that. Yeah.
Yeah. But the simple fact of, hey, that's new is what I I can't explain it. It's like that's the type of differentiation that really makes me want to lean into it because if that's what's coming today, there's something better coming tomorrow.
I mean, I'm right there with you, right? So I don't live in New York. 98% of the BILT company lives and works on Bond Street in Manhattan. I'm in New York twice a month on average. So when we launch something like Blade, I am acutely aware of like this isn't going to appeal to everybody, but there's a couple things about it. One is flying a helicopter is cool. Don't care where you live.
Yep.
A lot of people visit New York, even if you don't live in New York.
Yep.
And the ability to participate in a no annual fee program. And as a result of that, have the ability to fly a helicopter over one of the most incredible scenes that you're ever going to see in your life. And I got to do it for the first time just about a month ago. Like there's nothing cooler, especially I've spent the last 5 years commuting to New York between the Point Sky and BILT, and I've sat in traffic more time than anybody ever wants to between Newark and JFK. And the fact that I can use my own platinum credit because we don't get that stuff handed to us at BILT. We have to also become platinum members the hard way, like everybody. Like that's an awesome story to tell that hopefully gets people excited about the way that we're thinking of loyalty and about the program.
Oh yeah. So my go-to airline is United.
Okay.
Because I'm from Chicago,
Yep.
United's backyard. But when I fly through EWR, it's instantly like an $80 to $100 Lyft ride to get to the Midtown.
Man.
So
yep.
Now I get to do it. It might only be once this year, but still I get to do it in a helicopter. Come on, man.
But if you think about it, right? I mean, so United is actually my go-to. Most of the time I fly Atlanta to Newark now. I don't fly Delta out of Atlanta. I know most people will be like, what? But everybody flies Delta out of Atlanta. I have no interest in being number 70 on the upgrade list, or I book most of my travel so close in that if I book Delta, there's only middle seats left, even 2 weeks out going between Atlanta and New York. So I fly United. I got nice status with United. So I plan it's all about efficiency to me. I will fly into Newark only when I know traffic is going to be low. So I will never fly into Newark on a Monday morning. I will never fly to Newark on a Thursday afternoon. The fact that I could potentially take Blade now, and to your point, our office in NoHo on Bond Street to Newark is like $115 in Lyft now. After the BILT 10% discount, I'm looking at $175 for a Blade. So if I can save an hour of my time for an additional $40-$50 to be to Newark in 5 minutes instead of an hour and a half in traffic, like the math adds up pretty quick, in addition to the bonus BILT points that I personally get, because I know people have assumptions about I can just use whatever BILT points I want. They have a real cost. We can't do that. Like the math just starts to make sense when you start looking at things like that.
Can we not forget the helicopter? Like,
look, man,
99% of the people watching this video aren't in helicopters on a regular basis.
My phone is up. I'm taking pictures. I'm FaceTiming my kids, like looking at this ridiculous life I get to live in, like flying over New York City in a helicopter to beat traffic. Like it's pretty hard to complain most days.
Yeah. Now you have dropped a whole lot of what's coming in the future completely for free today. Like I said, This is
no charge. It's a no annual fee program. We give everything for free.
Speaking of that, future changes. Speaking of no annual fee, is BILT looking at an annual fee card, a second product anytime soon or anything like that? Or how are they looking to expand the company? Are you able to touch on that?
Man, expand the company now is all about reaching every renter in the U.S., right? If you are a renter, there's no reason that you're not participating in BILT. Again, you don't have to have the card, but you can get points, which is real value back on most places that you spend most of your money every month, especially with some new partnerships that we have coming up. But the question about an annual fee is always a question that we get. Look, we are always going to be a no annual fee program. We're always going to have a no annual fee card. That is very important to us. We want as minimum barriers to entry as possible. And we all know, well, as soon as you throw up a $95 annual fee card to people who are not like you and me, they're like $100 for a card. It's just, you immediately lose a whole lot of people. So we're always going to have no annual fee be a part of this program. Is there a world in the future where we have some kind of, fee for additional benefits and perks? Maybe. We talk about it all the time because we get asked about it all the time, and we, weigh the pros and cons of that. The other thing that's important to us is simplicity, right? Paying rent, real estate, all these kinds of things, travel are inherently complex things. So we do a very specific and intentional job of trying to keep everything that we do as simple as possible. Once you start adding different layers on top of layers and fees on top of benefits, it gets complex. So we're not sold on the idea yet. I won't ever say it's not going to happen, but right now it's not something that's a focus for us. It's much more about how much more value can we possibly deliver in a no annual fee program before we start looking at potentially charging a fee.
So I heard you say real estate. Does that mean these mortgages are coming? soon.
Look, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while. Our founder, CEO, Ankur Jain, has been doing several interviews. He was just on the cover of Forbes the other day. Mortgages is coming, and it's on the near horizon. I will tell people.
We
Now,
heard it.
it may not be available to every single person that has a mortgage. It may be through different providers. It may be through specific servicers. We're still working it out, but we want all people to be rewarded on their largest monthly expense, whether you're a renter or not, which means homeowners. So it is on the near horizon. I will tell people that, yes.
Absolutely. I think once mortgages hit, your entire business model is going to like 30x.
So we hope the business model itself doesn't change at all. But yes, we do hope there are more customers. But you also got to think about it, right? I mean, let's think about the economics of this thing, right? If every single person who has BILT points redeems on Hyatt or United, we go broke. We don't make money. We have to have the people that do all the redemptions. And also, let's remember, not everybody is interested in travel. So while I want every single person to love travel as much as you and I love travel, that's not the reality. So like we have to do things that are not always about travel. Rent day can't always be about travel, right? Not everything the business does can be about travel, and that helps the economics of the program as well as the customer base. So I don't think anything about the model is going to change when we launch mortgages, but of course we hope we get 30x customers would be a pretty great day.
And that's what I meant. 30x customers, not the actual business. Don't change your business model. Keep it as
we don't have any plans. We don't have any plans to change the business model.
Now, I think the community would be completely upset with me if I didn't ask this next question, because this is also the most polarizing question when it comes to BILT.
Okay.
Welcome bonuses.
Yeah.
Are they ever coming?
No, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. I mean, I'll tell you a few reasons why, right? You can go back and read the studies. I always go back to the Chase Sapphire Reserve and their 100,000 point launch in 2016. I covered it extensively because I worked at the Points Guy at the time. You can go look at the quarterly filings for how much money Chase lost on acquisition bonuses for the Chase Sapphire Reserve and how much other banks are willing to lose by offering people 185,000, 200,000 point sign-up bonuses. It doesn't make sense to us, and it's a race to the bottom. Let's say we did a 20,000 point sign-up bonus. Would that be good enough for the people who care? Probably not. They would be like, that's only 20,000 points. Okay, now we got to do 30,000 points. Does that ever mean we can go back down to 20,000? No, because everybody will be holding out for 30,000. Does that mean we got to do limited time offers up to 50,000? And so on and so forth, man. So like, we're a no annual fee program. The value that we provide, the program that we have is already way above the competition, in our opinion. And we have, acquisition bonuses are a customer acquisition problem. And knock on wood, thankfully right now, we don't have a problem of acquiring customers. So it just doesn't make sense to hand out that kind of money when, it's not needed. And it's just, we have every intention of being a profitable, sustainable business rather than just losing hundreds of millions of dollars.
You know what? I'm there for it. I think that was a great.
You're the first person that's there for it, but that's the honest truth. Well, we want to make money. We have a great program.
I already have my card, so if you did, then I still don't get it anyway. So
look, if you want major points, right, you can do it. You can refer friends. We have an incredibly generous referral program for a no annual fee card.
Sure,
2,500 points, and then if you get 5, you get 10,000 bonus points. So you get 5 of your friends to sign up, and there's a sign up bonus, like of the most valuable points that are out there. And I really objectively state that as a points nerd. Like if you offer me any flavor of points, objectively, I will want BILT points. So you can go and get them for free if you just refer friends.
No, I'm starting to see that more and more. You had mentioned Disney earlier. I'm actually planning a trip with my best friend from grad school. He has a family of 4, and I have a family of 3. So the 7 of us are all, his family has never been to Orlando before. And I don't like to pay for my vacations because I already used my cards for all my daily spend and use those points to then fund the vacation. So I don't want to pay for a vacation twice. But I also noticed that, as you had mentioned earlier, I can get our Disney tickets and even some like not necessarily on property, but good neighbor properties down there in Orlando straight through the BILT portal. And I'm like, yo, the tickets alone for my family of 3, it's like, yo, we just saved like $2,000 off our BILT points.
I was at Disney the first 2 days of this week that we're recording with my kids. And I've been all about trying to figure out, how is BILT going to be able to work with Disney one day so that we can provide these vacations for people that want to take them, because it is really, really expensive.
One of the most expensive vacations in the world, ironically enough. A
lot
of people don't realize that. Yeah.
So transfer your points to one of our travel partners and book one of the good neighbor hotels around Disney Springs and get the on-property benefits, Swan and Dolphin through Bonvoy as well.
Yep. And
then redeem your points for free Disney tickets to the BILT travel portal. And it's a pretty good deal.
Yep, Swan Reserve right there, walking distance to Epcot and Hollywood. Yeah.
Yep.
been in Orlando way too many times to know this off the top of my head. But anyway,
And that
I
makes
want to
two
be
of us.
respectful. I want to be respectful of your time, and I'm very grateful that you've been able to take this much time and share this much information with me. But I have one last question, and this question is for you back out to the community. So anyone out there that doesn't have a BILT card yet, or not part of the BILT program, or teetering on hitting that apply button, what would you say to them to help, make that click on the internet?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is download the app. It's free to sign up. Again, we're a loyalty platform, so you don't have to have the credit card in order to participate. And just do the first few things that are no brainers. Take advantage of rent day. It's the first of every month. It's usually when you have to pay your rent. It's a pretty bad day. About a year and a half ago, we thought, what if we reward people on rent day and actually make rent day exciting? So we have tons of ways to get free points on rent day. We always have a pretty lucrative promotion as well. Just do a few of those, get your first points, see everything we have going on the app, link your Lyft account so you get bonus BILT points every time you take a Lyft. Again, it doesn't matter how you pay. Anytime you take a Lyft ride, you get bonus BILT points. Take a look at our neighborhood reward spend. Look at the restaurants around you. If you live in top markets, that is about to expand substantially. So it doesn't really matter where you live in the U.S. There's going to be a BILT dining restaurant near you. And then once you get a taste of these points and you look at the redemption options and the value, that's the kind of deal where we hope you're like, why am I not getting as many of these points as possible? And maybe you'll upgrade to the credit card from there. But just download the app, check it out. It's a really slick app. And, to your point, our marketing team does a great job. And we really hope that, you see the value in it. The normal question I get is, what's the catch? Like, there really is no catch here.
I haven't found one yet.
There is no, you're not going to be asked like, okay, you've enjoyed it for a month. You got to now subscribe to keep enjoying it. Like, there's nothing like that. Like, we make money off of everything we have set up, which is also the other question I always get is BILT here for the long term. Like, yes, we are not on the VC hamster wheel. If we don't want to do another fundraise, we do not have to do another fundraise. We're cash flow positive. We're here to stay. There's no catch. And we hope you tell your friends about it.
Yeah. And like you said, there's nothing to lose. It's a $0 annual fee card. There's literally nothing to lose here.
Yeah.
So,
and people who are like 524, like I've argued against 524 since 2015, whenever it came out. You can read my old columns on the Points Guy before BILT ever existed. I'm not changing my tune now. 524 is a huge opportunity cost that you're missing out on if you're staying below that. So get out there and explore the world beyond the blue bank.
Absolutely. I'm on team take the trip. That's what I like to call it.
Just go out there and travel. That's right.
That's right. So, Richard, like I said, I want to be respectful of your time. So thank you so much for stopping by today, sharing all your vast knowledge and these future tips and what we can expect in the future. Any last words before I let you go?
Pleasure's all mine. You can always catch me in DMs on Instagram at KerrPoints, Kerr. I love chatting to fans, getting all the feedback, good and bad, out there. If you ever have any problems, again, shoot me a DM or suggestions. I love chatting to everybody.
Sure. And for the community that's watching this, if you want to see more content and interviews like this from awesome people like Richard, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And with that, I'll catch y'all all in the next one. Peace.